I never expected the last packet of warm bread at midnight to lead to such tender closeness. It was well past midnight, and I couldn't sleep. The small 24-hour convenience store near my apartment was the only place still open. I walked there in my thin jacket, the night air cool on my skin. Inside, the store was quiet and brightly lit. I went straight to the bakery section and reached for the last packet of warm bread on the shelf. At the exact same moment, another hand reached for it too. Our fingers touched over the warm plastic. His hand was larger and warmer than mine. Instead of pulling away quickly, his fingers stayed gently against mine for a long second. That simple touch, skin meeting skin over the warm bread, sent a slow, sweet flutter through my chest. I looked up. He was standing right beside me, tall with kind eyes and a soft, understanding smile. "You take it," he said quietly, his voice low and calm. "No, it's okay," I replied, suddenly feeling a little shy. He smiled again and carefully picked up the packet. But instead of handing it to me right away, he let his fingers brush mine once more as he placed it in my palm. The warmth from the bread and from his touch lingered. We both stood there for a moment, hands still close. "Would you like to walk back together?" he asked gently. "It's late, and the streets are quiet." I nodded. We paid and stepped out into the night. As soon as we left the store, he moved closer and his arm slid naturally around my waist. The touch was gentle but sure, pulling me against his side. I didn't move away. Instead, I leaned into him, letting his warmth shield me from the cool night air. Our hips brushed softly with every step. "I'm Arjun," he said as we walked. "I'm Priya." We walked slowly, not in any hurry to reach home. His arm stayed around my waist the whole way. His fingers made small, comforting movements on my side. I rested my head lightly against his shoulder. The streets were empty and peaceful, the only sound our quiet footsteps and our soft voices. We talked about simple things at first, why we were both awake so late, how the city looked different at night. But soon the conversation became deeper. I told him how these midnight walks sometimes made me feel the weight of being alone. He shared that his long work hours often left him with the same quiet emptiness. While we spoke, his hand moved from my waist to my lower back, resting there steadily. I let my arm slide around his back, holding him closer. At one quiet street corner, he stopped and turned me toward him. His hands settled on my hips, drawing my body gently against his. Our hips pressed together. He looked into my eyes for a long moment, then leaned down and placed the softest kiss on my forehead. His lips lingered there, warm and tender. When he pulled back, he kept his hands on my hips. We continued walking like that, his arm around my waist or hand on my lower back, our bodies staying close. Every few steps, he would pull me a little tighter, our hips brushing softly. Soft kisses came naturally, on my temple when the wind blew, on my cheek when we laughed at something small. Each kiss made the longing inside me grow warmer and sweeter. When we reached my building, he didn't say goodbye right away. He walked me to my door, his arm still around my waist. At the entrance, he turned me toward him again. His hands rested on my lower back, pulling my hips firmly against his. We stood there under the building light, bodies pressed together, looking at each other. "I don't want this walk to end," he whispered. "Neither do I answered. He leaned in and kissed me, a slow, tender kiss on the lips that felt full of all the quiet feelings we had shared on the way home. I kissed him back, my arms going around his neck. We held each other tightly, hips touching, hearts beating close. When the kiss ended, he rested his forehead against mine. "Can I see you again tomorrow night?" he asked softly. "Yes," I smiled. "Same time?" From that midnight convenience store meeting, our connection grew every night. We started meeting at the store regularly. Every time, the closeness began immediately. He would reach for whatever I was reaching for, letting our hands touch again. Then he would slide his arm around my waist as we left the store, holding me close while we walked home. I would lean into him, my head on his shoulder, our hips brushing with every step. We talked for the entire walk, about our days, our dreams, our small fears. His hand never left my waist or lower back. Sometimes he would stop under a streetlight, turn me toward him, and kiss me gently, on the forehead, on the temple, on the lips. Each kiss was full of tenderness and the growing longing between us. One particularly cool night, he brought an extra jacket and draped it over both of us. His arm went around my waist underneath it, pulling me tightly against his side. I curled into him, my face against his chest. We walked like that the whole way, bodies pressed together, sharing soft kisses whenever we paused. As weeks passed, our midnight walks became the most beautiful part of my day. We started spending time at my apartment or his after the walk. He would pull me into his arms the moment the door closed, hands on my hips, arms around my waist. I would melt against him, letting our bodies stay close while we talked or cooked something simple together. One quiet night after our walk, we sat on my couch. I curled fully into his lap, my legs across his thighs, my head on his chest. His arms wrapped around my waist, holding me securely. We stayed like that for hours, talking softly about our pasts and our hopes. His fingers stroked my back and hips in slow, comforting movements. Between words, he kissed me, gentle kisses on my lips, my forehead, my closed eyes. The emotional connection felt deeper than ever. The longing between us was always present, that sweet, warm ache of wanting to be even closer. But we kept every touch tender and respectful. His hands on my waist or hips never rushed. My body always responded with the same softness. That first midnight touch, our fingers meeting over the warm bread, had started everything. It opened the door to warm arms around my waist, gentle hands on my lower back, soft kisses under streetlights, and a real emotional bond that made the lonely nights feel full. Now, when I can't sleep and walk to the convenience store at midnight, my heart feels light. Because I know Arjun will be there, ready to let our hands touch again, to slide his arm around my waist, to pull me close, to kiss me tenderly, and to keep building this beautiful, longing-filled connection that began with one warm touch over a simple packet of bread. He is my midnight convenience store companion, and every late-night walk with him feels like the beginning of something warm, tender, and truly beautiful.